Hello, everybody, and welcome to my channel. If you are new here, let me introduce myself. My name is Jules. My pronouns are he, him. I'm a commercial food photographer, stylist, and author. And today we are doing a January flip of my Jibun Techo Days. That should actually be on the top. And my Jibun Techo Days. So let's start with the biz. This is my month out of view. I use this to write down like appointments, like the thing I need to remember that is most important, or things that are most important that are happening on a day. So that's things like if I'm recording a video, doctor's appointments, meetings, recipe development days, birthdays, life plan with me, stuff like that. On this side, this is a to-do list, things that I would like to get accomplished in the month that have no deadline. So if I find myself with some time and I don't know what to do, I look to this list. And then down here, while I am developing a new cookbook, this is a count of the recipes and how many times I will be cooking them in a month. This is my color code for the month. I use a different color scheme to decorate both my days and my biz every month. And then there's just a little bit of deco. I like this specific. I was traveling on these 2 days, so I was finally able to use my traveling stickers from the Sticky Club. All of these stickers are from the Sticky Club, and this is from Shein, and I will link to the stuff below. There's actually an unboxing video with this sticker in it that I will link right there. So yeah, that's my month. Oh yeah, and I have it snowed a lot on this day, so that's why I should have actually put one on the 18th as well. So I gotta fix that at some point. So yeah, that is my January. And then we get to the weeks, and yeah, I do a mix of, it's mostly functional planning, but I like to add a little bit of deco to all of my spreads. So this top section I use for whatever my priority is for the week. I plan my time using spoon theory. I have a whole system for that, and I plan to do a video for that one day. But yeah, this is the thing that I tackle no matter, like, first, and anything else I do above this priority is gravy. And then I color code these days based off of, again, what my priority for that day is. And each color means a specific thing. And I also record when there's birthdays, if I'm recipe developing, what I developed that day. There's dog stickers for when it's dog food making day. I use the 6 to 8 a.m. section for if I have a delivery coming that day or a deadline or whatever goes in that section. And then from 8 a.m. to 6 p.m., that is my work day, and that's my schedule. I put appointments, things that are scheduled, and then I backfill it and color code everything to type of task. So I can look at a glance and see how I'm spending my time every single week. This helps me when I'm bidding on projects. And then down here, exercise and what we're watching, media that we're consuming every night. I pre-schedule it. Sometimes it changes, but it's because there's so much to watch, is so that when it's time to watch something, I'm not like, I don't know what we're going to watch. I do know what we're going to watch. This top to-do section, again, is things that I would like to get accomplished that week that don't have to be accomplished, that don't have a deadline. It will be nice to accomplish them. And this bottom section is the recipes that I'm developing that week. And down here is if there's something that happened that day that I want to remember, I put it down there. If I have migraines, if I have nightmares, whatever, I put that happy meal arrival, I put that there. I track my quality of sleep in this section. And then this bottom section, I check in with my body 3 times a day. I figure out how many spoons I have and how much energy I have on a scale from 1 to 10, and I base my tasks that I'm doing based off of that score. And if I get to a 1 in the middle of the day, that means I'm done working for the day. And yeah, I will have a video on that because I get lots of questions about how I plan using the spoon theory. And it's a system that I talk about in my cookbook, Grip Up the Kitchen, which I will link in the comments below or in the description below if you're interested in that. But yeah, and then most of these stickers are all from Sticky Club, and this is some washi from a washi sampler that I got on Etsy for a shop that is no longer there. It's closed. So that's my first week of January. Oh yeah, and this is where the color code comes in. Every single from that you saw down here. This is the complementary color. So every single week had its own color, and then you will see in my days how I alternate between all of these colors to add some deco to my days. So this is the color scheme for this week, and then this next week. Got a little bit of snow that day. The thing I want to remember from here. Yeah, I got... Oh, this was my huge washi haul. That was a ridiculous video. That was funny. So yeah, my second week of January. Nothing really... It was my birthday. Nothing really exciting. We got a little bit of snow. And then the third week of January, I was traveling these 2 days, and recipe development. So much snow these 2 days, like so much snow. And the fourth week of January, really like doing the color schemes and finding complementary colors. I'm really liking how the deco is turning out. Is making it easier for me to make decisions about what stickers I want to use when I want to use deco. And then we have the final week half week of January. And it's really funny that my color scheme for February complements my color scheme for January. And this color is my complementary color for February, my accent color. So it kind of really worked out nice that the last few days of January actually matches what my February color scheme is. I still have to add some deco to this spread. We'll get there. But yeah, that is my day, or my biz, my Jibun Techo biz for January. I'm really happy with how that turned out. Yeah, hobo order. It was hot this day. It was 15 degrees Celsius at 9 p.m. And if you are in Fahrenheit, if you do that, that's like 60 degrees Fahrenheit at 9 o'clock at night. That's really hot for January. So that is my January in my biz. And then I like this one. My January in my days. I'm skipping the monthly because that has personal information. So, this month's goal, I wanted to open an Etsy shop, and I've done that. I'm not ready to promote it yet, but it's open and has some stuff in it. What I want to do, I wanted to film my first D-Stash video. I wanted to film some D-Stash shorts. I didn't do that. Film flip shorts weekly. I did that. Film a Dory MD notebook setup. Did not do that. Film my December flip. Did that. Film some watercolor paint unhaul. Have not done that yet. Film an unboxing stationery. I did that. And recipe development. I did that. I was overly ambitious about things that I wanted to do in January. And then what I had to do in January was travel to speak at Simon Fraser University. And my word for January was be intentional. And then this is everything I was able to do. This is what I couldn't do. What I did that wasn't planned. I did some consultation for community-based research. And what I reflected on that I continue to reflect on my health and being more gentle on myself, because my health is, I'm going through a really bad autoimmune flare that, despite different 4 different immunosuppressants and immunomodulators and a biologic, it's refusing to go into remission. And so I'm having to make some pretty drastic changes in my life, and that occupied much of my time. Where I went, Simon Fraser University, people I met, and what I bought. I bought 3 Hobonichi weeks and accessories, and that video is up, and I will link to it here, my hobo. And so, yeah, we do my days, anything like birthdays, holidays, deadlines, whatever. That's what I use this top section for. This is my to-do list, and this is my running like appointments and time and how I'm spending my day. And then any empty spots, I do some deco, and I played a lot with different layouts for my spreads in January. Down here is I track my overall mood for the day. I know moods can fluctuate between frustrated and stressed and happy, but it's basically overall how I felt about the day for me is the most important. And then I journal 1 or 2 sentences about my day. These stickers are from Shein, and I will link to that. These are mostly from either Shein or Sticky Club, is the stickers that you'll see throughout my spreads. This was, I tipped in some birthday. I got a birthday present from one of my regular viewers on Nomic, and the gift, I just like to tip that in. I'm really happy with some of these spreads. I think this one in particular, it's very calming and peaceful. And the reason why I tipped this in, I could still see my TikTok, is how I like to call it. And then there's some more. I really like this cat. I don't, this color is like not my favorite color in the world, but it is my favorite color for doing spreads in. I don't know what it is. It's just very placid and peaceful for me. And this was a recipe development day. And so it was, and one of the things that I was developing had chocolate in it. And even though this isn't what I was developing, it kind of calls back to what I was developing that day. And so Sundays I cover with just a bunch of paper deco. Sundays is a personal family day. I don't keep track of what I do because it's private and personal. And I use Sunday to journal about my week. And so I cover up the page, and then I have pieces of paper that I write out my thoughts, and sometimes I only need a little bit of room, and sometimes if I would need a lot, I would grab a whole bigger piece of paper and cover this up more. But that's how I do it. But I still track my overall mood for the day. So that's how I use that. This was my birthday. I really like my birthday spread. It's a happy spread for my day. And yeah, I don't, every time I get to this color, I'm like, oh, I really like that. Snowflake for the snow. This dude looking at the bird. This honey was used in one of my recipes. That's why I have the honey pot and then the arrow up to it. I like how this turned out. This is when I started playing with putting bars and lines on the side. I start playing with different layouts, trying to figure out what I like. To add a little bit of separation between my TikTok and my deco, because I don't quite like how it all kind of bleeds, there's no separation here. And so this is where I start playing with creating some separation with my daily run of how I do spending my time in appointments. I really like the spread. And I see, this is just one sentence, because this week was and that's all. Just one sentence about my week. This day, because this is when I was traveling, so I used my to-do list, as my packing list. I had a lot of things I had to pack for my overnight trip to the mainland. This is more stuff to bring to the event. And then coming back was my travel schedule here. And I just repack was my only to-do, and I went off of my previous to-do or my previous packing list to make sure that I have everything. Yeah, so you can see I'm starting to play with bars here, aside from the lines on here, just to create more separation. This is lots of snow, lots of snow. Here I decided, I was thinking that I would have more room to do deco if I moved my to-do list down to meet where my work time started. And for most days it would work, but there are some days that I have really long, and I like the way this looked. I especially like this part of the spread, and I like the way it looks, but I realized that doing this, there are some days where this would not be enough spot to put my to-do list, and then what would I do? So I went back to, I still put it down here too. I decided to tip in my journaling, my weekly journal this week, just for something different, because I wanted to see the spread underneath. You'll see later on, I might have a really long to-do list where it is very evident that I would not have enough room. Here I started to let me use center lines, like instead of 2 squares, let me use 1 square, because I didn't like how thick these were, and this still felt like a little bit too much for me. So I changed it again afterwards. I really like the spread too. Here is where I started going to skinny lines like I do on the left, and I like how it looks with skinny line. It creates the separation I want, and gives me room to do some deco. Yeah, here's an example. This to-do list would not have fit if I started it down here. I would have run out of space. More spreads. I like how this looked too. I didn't journal this day because I had nothing to say except for it was just a relaxing day. I did track my mood, but this is like the only day in January that I didn't journal. 1 or 2 sentences, sometimes 3 sentences about my day. This Sunday, I decided to do a flip one on diagonal. I wanted a tip in on that diagonal. That was a mistake because this keeps getting caught and curling. Very minimalistic deco on this day, and that's fine. Here's another example of that to-do list would not have fit had I put it, or it might have just fit, right? But I would have been nervous about being able to get it all there. So I like the way this like specific thing turned out too, as well for my deco. I like how it hangs over a bit. So yeah, that is my days for January 2024. I hope you liked this. I hope it gave you some ideas for how to do a mix of functional planning and decorative planning, and different spread ideas, different, if you're like struggling like color themes, how you can work with color themes in a way that's a little bit different than, I haven't seen this type, like I've seen people use color themes before, but not quite the way that I do it. So yeah, that is my January in my Jibun Techo Days. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up, and it also helps other people find it. If you are not already subscribed, please subscribe to my channel and hit that notification bell so that you are notified when new videos go up, and join me every single Saturday at 1 p.m. Pacific, 9 p.m. British time for a live plan with me where we sit and chat for an hour and a half and we plan our week or a month, or you can journal, do art, whatever. We just hang out for an hour and a half and have a good time and talk. Until next time, I hope you all have a safe and fantastic week. I'll talk to you soon. Bye.